Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this interview, this exclusive interview, which we are conducting in a very particular place under very particular conditions. We are in Nazeb el-Taksim, which was recently liberated by the Popular Mobilization Forces from the Islamic State organization. And as such, I'm happy to be able to speak today with the head of these forces, Hadi al-Ameri.
Welcome.
Welcome, Mr. Al-Ameri, and thank you for having accepted our invitation here to the front lines and during the ongoing operations. You are a man of the ground. First of all, let's talk about the Popular Mobilization Forces. How are they composed, and who is financing them for those who do not know them?
The Popular Mobilization Forces are a public institution that work under the command of the Chief of Staff of Iraq. They are funded and they are armed and they are provided with support by the Chief of Staff.
Some say that these forces are composed essentially of Shiites, and that they do not include other components of Iraqi society.
Our troops are made up now of every creed. The current conditions in Sunni regions simply don't make it possible for Sunnis to volunteer for our forces, but whenever we liberate an area, there are many of the children of these regions that join us, in particular in the governorate of Salahuddin, in Biji, in Kirkuk, and in many of these governorates in Ramadi.
Are there also tribal members?
They all join us. And we can't say that our troops are only made up of Shiites. We also have Christians, we have Yazidis, we have Shiites and Sunnis. So the current situation in Sunni areas simply does not allow them to do more, because most of these areas are occupied by Daesh, and these men simply cannot participate in our troops.
Let's talk about what some of the media say. Some of the media talk about exactions which have been committed by the Popular Mobilization Forces after the liberation of certain cities, such as Tikrit. What do you have to say to that?
What I have to say about that is we have to first underscore the good signs before the bad signs. Without the Popular Mobilization Forces, Iraq would have been completely overrun by Daesh from north to south. Without our troops, Daesh would have gained control of the entire region down to the Gulf, Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and all of the other countries in the region. There has never been a terrorist group with such means, such an ability to organize. Daesh has been unique. The latest terrorist attack in Kuwait shows that Daesh has been infiltrating these countries and that they are lying in wait for the right moment. So Daesh is trying to move towards the south of Iraq and then to move into the Gulf countries.
And what kind of relations do you have with neighboring countries? And what kind of coordination is there with certain countries such as Iran?
Well, for starters, we want to thank the Islamic Republic of Iran because they helped us tremendously. They helped us when Iraq needed it most. Iran helped the Iraqi government, and Iran provided an air bridge that supported us. I say that clearly. Without the fatwa of the religious authorities and without the answer of the people, Iraq, without the Popular Mobilization Forces and without the government, Iraq would no longer exist.
Can we imagine at one point that there would be a coordination between your forces and the forces of the American army in order to fight together against the Islamic State organization?
Let's be honest. We have reserves. We have some reservations, even in terms of coordination between the Iraqi Air Force and the coalition air forces. Right now, coalition air forces are striking areas throughout Iraq. But in areas, on battlefields where we are fighting, we refuse to coordinate with the international coalition because we fear mistakes that would complicate situations further. In areas where the coalition is already in coordination with the Iraqi government, we have no issues with that, but we don't need that coordination.
Some media have recently said that the Pentagon has demanded of the Iraqi government that they exclude certain elements of your forces from certain military bases where the American forces are training the Iraqi forces.
Where?
In the al-Assad base, for example.
Well, for starters, our troops are in Ain al-Assad, and without our troops, Ain al-Assad would have fallen.
We're talking about a few dozens of people.
We saved Ain al-Assad. And further, we control Iraqi territory. It's not U.S. troops that control Iraqi territory. We've said that clearly. We said it to the U.S. ambassador. So we are against any troops, any American troops on the ground, and we are against any U.S. military bases in Iraq that is included in the convention signed by the United States and Iraq. Third, we refuse that they arm tribes outside of the scope of arming through the federal government. The government is the only one entitled to arm these tribes, and any tribes that get weapons by other means would be seen as militia, in line with the Constitution.
Let's talk about the Kurds now. Recently, we saw clashes between your forces and the Peshmerga.
I can clearly state that our relationship with our Kurdish brothers are excellent. We fight side by side. We freed Sliman Bek, Jestra Zerga, Al-Ameri, and we are still fighting together in Saadia and Jalaula. We have no problems with our Kurdish brothers. There was a minor setback, a small detail that has been focused on too much by the media, but frankly our relationship is normal, and we invited our Kurdish brothers to come and visit with us. We have been coordinating at the highest levels, and we have a single opponent, Daesh. And it's important that all Iraqis come together, Arabs, Sunnis, Kurds, Christians, Muslims, all of Iraq, Turkmens, Shiites, everyone come together to fight Daesh. The Kurds are doing that, and therefore we have no problems with them. And we had a minor setback that was resolved.
Now let's talk about the ground and the strategy to liberate the Anbar province. When are you going to begin this major operation to liberate the region?
Soon. We're going to start that operation quite soon. Obviously, there needs to be some secrecy, but we are going to launch that operation to free Anbar province soon, and it'll be easy.
And have you advanced in the preparations?
Yes, we are setting our plans and our strategies, and I hope we will very shortly free Anbar province.
And then are you going to deal with Mosul?
Once we free Ramadi, we are going to continue freeing the entire, all of Anbar province, and we hope to reach the Syrian border, and we will move quite easily.
Very easy? You seem very confident.
Yes, we are very confident. We are continuing the fight, and we're not going to stop at the Syrian border. We believe that Daesh's presence in Syria is a threat to Iraq. Therefore, we won't stop at the border. We're going to continue hunting down Daesh wherever they are in the region.
This is of concern to certain Westerners. Some say that Iran is backing your forces, and we know the balance of power in the region.
Our troops are Iraqi troops, not Iranian troops. We are the troops of the Iraqi government working under the orders of the Prime Minister. When the West and the United States say that they want to help our Prime Minister, Hadi Abadi, they have to support our troops.
Would you accept American support?
Why should I accept U.S. support and not Iranian support? Why should we favor the U.S. support? American experts are sitting far off in dark rooms while Iranians are here in the field with us. They advise us, they give us information at the right time. And so I should instead favor the U.S. expert while the Iranian one is here with me in the field?
What will the Popular Mobilization Forces do after the Iraqi territory is liberated?
The Iraqi Popular Mobilization Forces are going to continue working under the Chief of Staff beside the Army and the police. This is not an anomaly. You see that in many different countries. In the United States, you have the Army and you have the National Guard.
Like the Revolutionary Guard in Iran, for example.
Yes, like the Revolutionary Guard, like the National Guard in the United States. This is by no means an anomaly. It's common practice in many countries. In Saudi Arabia, for instance, there is an army and a National Guard and a police.
What are the Al-Ameri's political ambitions?
I have no political ambitions. I have military ambitions. I want to liberate all of Iraq. I want to liberate the entire region from Daesh, because I believe that Daesh is a tumor, and it's not going to stop. If we don't treat Daesh and we don't treat that tumor, the tumor will metastasize throughout the region.
Can we expect to see you a president one day of Iraq?
I don't think about that. I want to serve Iraqi citizens. I want to fight on behalf of the Iraqi people in these tough times, in these exceptional times. Whether I am president or prime minister, I've already been minister 4 times, is irrelevant. Right now, as I say, what's important is this path where I could lose my life at any moment. I don't need to be president. I don't need these types of honors. What is important for me, and I want to say it clearly, is to serve the Iraqi people in order to liberate the Iraqi people and Iraqi territory from this evil group that is the worst history has ever seen.
Mr. Al-Ameri, head of the Popular Mobilization Forces.
I'm not a commander, I'm a fighter.
Yes, you're on the ground, but at the same time, you're the commander of these forces. And you are also the Secretary General of the Badr organization. Thank you very much for speaking with us today, here in such particular conditions, in this very particular place on the front lines. I would like to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this interview. Goodbye.